Hello, ladies. Alyssa, I'm so glad you're here today, and I'm also so glad that Stacy is with us as well. Oh, but I should also say Stacy's name is also Anastasia. Yes. Okay. Wonderful. So, Alyssa, can you please tell us where you are from?
Hello, Dr. Naval. Thank you for having us. I am from Palm Desert, California, Coachella Valley, Palm Springs area.
That's a beautiful place to be coming from.
Yes, it is very pretty, especially our sunset.
Oh, wow. It never gets cold there, right?
It does actually get a little bit chilly,
Oh.
although right now it's November and it's still about 85 degrees.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I always thought it was just always nice and warm. So, okay, always something new to learn that it can get chilly
Mhm.
in the evenings. Okay, thank you. And what about you, Stacy? Where do you come from?
For me, the answer to that question is a little bit more complicated. I was born in Kyrgyzstan, and then I moved to the United States when I was around like 5 years old. Yeah.
Ah, great. Have you ever gone back home to your homeland?
I haven't. I would really like to. I forgot how to speak the language, so obviously my mom would have to go with me, but I would.
Yes, maybe one of these days after school.
Maybe.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to go back to Alyssa. Alyssa, can you tell us more about you and what direction you might see yourself maybe in the future as a dietitian?
Of course. So, just recently, about 2 months ago, I passed my board exam. So, I'm now a registered dietitian nutritionist. So, that
Congratulations.
has been, thank you. That has been very exciting. And once I do start applying for jobs, I am hoping to land either in clinical or possibly in food service management, just kind of depending on um, where the opportunity opens up. I'm very open minded.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for my first job.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, those are two different worlds, clinical and versus food service, but you're very well versed in both of them that you're equally like interested in them.
Yes, it is a little bit of a battle inside me trying to decide which one to go for first.
Yeah, okay. But we'll see which door God opens up for you then.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all right. Thank you. And Stacy, I'm going to ask you the same thing. I know you're going to pass that RD exam when you will be able to. And so once you have RDN after your name, what is your hope for maybe the initial future or if you don't know yet, the far future?
I think I like to take the common route and start in the hospital.
Yeah.
Ideally, if we're just talking about ideally, I'd like a actual job there, but I know a lot of people start out per diem and then they kind of do that. So hopefully that
Yeah.
again, it might change, but I also would like to become a CNSC eventually.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully, but we'll see.
Perfect. Perfect. Yes. So the hospital is definitely the place to be able to do that and get those hours for that. And if God has put that in your heart, then he's going to finish seeing that through. So,
And also, I think it's also because my mom is an RD and she's also a CNSC, so it's a
oh,
little bit her too.
beautiful. Oh, that's so wonderful to hear. Wow, you know what? I forgot that your mom is also an RD. That's
Yeah.
right. Where does she
Mhm.
work?
She works at Scripps in La Jolla. That's her
La
main
Jolla.
job. Yeah.
Scripps. Oh, yeah, that's another beautiful place to be living out in Scripps, out in La
Yes.
Jolla.
Very pretty, very expensive.
Yeah, no, so true. Okay, I will be looking forward to hearing where both of you will be working after this school year. It'll be exciting to go back and connect with both of you.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Ladies, you have an exciting topic today, and your episode is entitled How to Break Up with Diet Culture and Love Food Again. Oh, yes, 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 yes. I love this topic. And so I'm going to ask this. What is your personal experience, with dieting? And when did you realize diet culture can be toxic? Please share.
So I'll start out this question. I personally started to diet like in my teens. I think that's pretty common with a lot of teenage girls in particular.
Including
And
myself.
that, yeah, that time period in my life was pretty much I was either on a diet and eating like salads 24/7, or I was off a diet and eating anything drive through. I didn't know how to cook back then. So that was my reality. And when I was on a diet, what I used for ideas was pop culture at that time. So it would either be anything I heard on the news or on the internet. I would go on there. And at that time, I didn't think that it would be harming anything because so many people are doing this. So how can it be harmful, right? And I didn't realize until probably a little bit before I started the program here that it is pretty toxic to view food as calories, because that was, and only calories, that was my thing when I did a diet. I tracked calories like down to the single calories. I had apps. I would read like the label, and I had that mindset that low calorie foods are healthy. And while that may be true for some cases, there's so many other things that can go into it. And it wasn't until I started the program and I realized like, wow, this is not a good way to view food at all. So that was my experience.
Yes, and I can relate to that on my end of things. For me, it wasn't the calories, but it was about fat. Always trying to
Mm,
find everything that was low in fat. And then it's like, but I was already a dietitian then, and I thought that was healthy for me. So I've had my share, not even while as a dietitian, but even, before that as a teenager too. So
right.
pretty much many of us have been there because we didn't know any better,
Mm-hmm.
but we
Yes.
have had that experience.
Yeah,
What about
very
Alyssa?
true.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that, Stacy. For me, I didn't grow up dieting necessarily, but I did grow up seeing people in my family
Yeah.
and friends on diets, especially fad diets like South Beach diet, juice cleanses, low carb, everything. And I didn't ever do the diets myself because I grew up in dance. So I was very active. I could literally eat anything and see no change in my body weight or anything like that. But when I kind of realized things were toxic was when I wanted to become a professional dancer when I was a kid, and I learned that professional dancers actually smoke cigarettes to stay thin. And
Wow.
that's when it kind of hit me like, wait, like this is not healthy. This isn't like what? you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah, like
So
smoking, a dancer, wait, well, it's not connecting. Yeah.
yeah, it was surprising for me too. And so, when I got older, I and I stopped dancing, I kind of noticed that I had this like negative perception of my body and negative self-talk and with my weight and just with everything really. And it was because of dance and being in a leotard and tights constantly. And then just the idea that dancers don't eat anything, it really kind of stuck with me. And I saw on social media that just perpetuates everything, and you'll see the exact same encouragement to be really thin and skinny, especially as an active person. So that's when I really saw diet culture become toxic.
Yeah.
And that's when I decided to start spreading my message to stop dieting and start just living.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, ladies, thank you so much for sharing your own personal stories with that. So, then what are the concerning trends from diet culture that you commonly see?
Okay, I will take this one at the beginning here.
Mhm.
So right now I'm seeing the very low carb slash high fat diet as a major trend. Also goes by the name keto,
Mhm.
ketogenic diet.
Yeah.
And what's concerning about this diet is that a lot of people are doing the high fat part with high saturated fat.
Yes.
And that is concerning to me because science has proved time and time again that saturated fat is directly correlated with heart disease, diabetes, other chronic diseases. So when I see people trying to better themselves, but doing it in a really harmful way, it is concerning to me. In addition, you see these other little fads, especially on social media, drinking coffee as a meal replacement, apple cider vinegar, and thinking it's healthy, calling it healthy, but really it's just sending you to the bathroom multiple times a day. And, people don't realize, they might think, oh, yeah, the more I go to the bathroom, the thinner I'll be or whatnot. But really, they're losing out on that micronutrient absorption in the gut from the food moving through our gut too quickly. And
Right.
it's really damaging. And I hate to see people following those trends and um, just actually being more harmful than good.
You know
And
what?
then,
Can I just pause right there? You're so right
yeah,
about that. I mean, I'll take that on a personal level because I also thought that too. Oh, the more I poop, the more my weight will be down, which I didn't need to be skinnier.
mm-hmm.
And so that was ridiculous. But I was thinking that too. Whatever it takes, I'll take whatever it takes to make me go number two. Oh, that was so wrong. So I'm glad you
Yes,
brought that up.
thank you for sharing that. I think a lot of us have been there. Even, we're dietitians now, and we did that at one point. So there's always room to grow, and
Right.
it's really important to recognize and grow from it. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And the final social media trend that I want to talk about or introduce really is the what I eat in a day trend.
Oh,
I see
yeah.
them so often where they will eat like, a little 8-ounce smoothie and then like half an apple and then like a salad. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, you guys are not eating enough calories in a day. And everybody, all of your followers are seeing that and they're going to, take it personally and
Mhm.
possibly copy you. And I think that can be toxic.
Yes. Oh, you're so right.
Yeah.
It makes more of a negative influence than a positive influence. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I believe we need more dietitians and dietetic students out there speaking the truth, like what the two of you are doing. So,
And just to tack on to her idea of that trend,
yes.
so we ask ourselves, okay, why is the audience paying attention to their meals? And that's, I think, because it's all in their appearance. It's because they look an idealized way. So
Good.
right now, if they have this ideal type, then if they're eating this, then if I eat that too, that means my body will be like theirs, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
of course, it's not going to be. We're all very different and we can eat the same foods and still be very different, but that doesn't stop people. And another trend that we see on off of that is cheat days. I'm not sure if
Oh,
you guys have seen cheat days. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
um,
where they normally eat like low calorie, like really on a particular diet, and then either for a meal or an entire day, they
I mean,
will just binge on whatever food they can get their hands on that's unhealthy. And what does that do to your relationship with food? I just feel like that's super harmful to have this like, I'm either going to eat like A or I'm going to eat like B, but there's nothing in between. And afterwards, after you eat all of that, you know, you're bloated, you feel like really heavy, and then you feel bad for eating foods that you like.
Oh,
And you get this shame around eating, and it's just not going to be good in the long term. And they might even go on a jog the day after or after a meal because they feel bad, and then you're tying that into that too. So you can see this is going to go downhill very quickly. Yeah.
oh my goodness, Stacy, you're so right. And I mean, all these things that we're talking about, it's like, oh, I've been there. I've totally, Alyssa, I've been there, and like Stacy, I've been there. Maybe for me, not really like having cheat days or but if I did eat a little bit more of this or that, then I would either the next day exercise extra or cut back on a meal or yeah, so it's very similar
Mm-hmm.
to what you said. And I thought that was being healthy back then. And now that we look back and we understand, I'm like, ooh, I was them. I was one of them. But that's very
Right.
insightful, ladies.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay. So then what role does misinformation play in propagating toxic dieting trends?
So I think it really all starts off with the popular platforms, IG, Facebook, and it's really how, and it's not intentional, but what you see is just what's more popular and trendy. It's not really what's truthful. And
Wow.
it's all in the platform. So say you like a keto item or a post or a person, then guess what? Your homepage is going to be full of low carb options, and you may not see the opposite point of view. And when they
True.
do that, when those platforms just give you the same thing, the same ideas over and over again, especially if they're not true, they're not, you can't get out of that. You don't, you kind
Correct.
of start to lose your like what is true and not true. So I think
Correct.
just how the platforms are really can give way to people not knowing that anymore. And also on top of the appearances, it's a lot on personal testimony. You see the pictures of the before and afters of one person, and sometimes it may not even be the same person. I don't know if you've seen those before and
Oh,
afters where it's like, is that even the same person? And people really
Yes,
like those. Those are very popular posts,
really?
and it's just personal testimony. So just because that person lost that weight, they were on that diet, that really should be taken with like a grain of salt.
Correct. I
yes,
agree. Wow, I didn't know that some people would post pictures like a before and an after two different people. Yeah, I could see how it can be
Yeah.
deceiving. Ooh, ooh, scary.
yes, yes. And I just want to point out, or bring up, I guess, social media is just, you're only seeing what the creator wants you to see. You're
Correct.
only seeing that small little window of their life. And like Stacy said, so many things are staged, they're photoshopped, there's
Mhm.
filters, and we really don't know what's real and what's fake. We're thankful for people who do post things and are like, I really want you to see the real side of me. Those
Right.
people, thank you so much. That's amazing. But for the most part, we really don't know if it's real life or not. We also have to take into account that there are a lot of influencers these days, and they're paid to advertise
Mm-hmm.
a lot of health products like detox teas, or I've
Mm.
seen apple cider vinegar, gummy bears, collagen powders, etc., that really are not backed scientifically, but this person with this large following is being paid to promote the product. So really take into account who the person is that you're getting your information from.
Correct.
do they have any kind of substantial experience or knowledge to support what they're saying, or are they just also in, just playing into pop culture, social media?
Right. No, that's true. What are their credentials? Did they go to school for this instead of just their own experience?
Yes, yes, exactly.
Yes, you're right. And also, if they are presenting any evidence-based materials too, that's important to look for as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Good point. Good point.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So then, what are the underlying causes for the rise in toxic diet culture?
So this one is, you kind of have to think about it, but I think it does somewhat come down to the obesity epidemic that we see in America. Over the past 50 to 100 years or so, we've seen Americans gaining weight. And I think that has caused a little bit of a mental shift where everyone's like, ooh, I need to lose 10 pounds, or ooh, I need to lose 20 pounds. And for some people, that's true. But for a lot of people, maybe they really don't need to lose 10 pounds. We don't know. And that also plays down into societal and American standards of beauty for men and women.
Mm,
So, on the internet, we have so much more information now than ever before. We're seeing a lot of people post bad information, take bad advice. And I think all of that is really the cause for the toxicity of diet culture. We have people who want to lose weight with taking bad information, which they may or may not know it's bad information, by the way. And they're also trying to meet these standards set by society. And I think it's really unfortunate, honestly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so right. Oh, Guy, thank you for enlightening us on that.
Mm-hmm.
Is there
And
anything?
then off of that point, I think a huge cause and why we see it is also because they not only want to lose weight, but they want to lose weight now and quickly.
Mm,
So when
mm,
you see what's super popular are those posts where I lost 10 pounds in a week or 2 weeks. And we know as like RDs and RDs to be that you're not supposed to lose like 5 pounds a week. So it's just a, not good for you, it's harmful, but also B, you're not going to be able to keep it up. You're probably just going to regain that, and that can be that can also be not good as well. So you really, in order to kind of get your like aha, is after you try these diets again and again and you fail them, what do we say to ourselves? Oh, it's me. It's like I couldn't do it, like my power is not so strong, and we blame ourselves when we can't get through these diets, when in reality we should be asking ourselves, is it just diet culture that's the one to blame?
ooh,
So yeah.
excellent. That's such a great question to ask to assess. Wait, this hasn't worked. Then where is the problem? And so that question directs us to looking at what the true issue
Mm-hmm.
is. So thank you. And you know what? It's like this topic that the two of you are talking about is those people who, okay, it comes from a vanity point of view because it's wanting to look a certain way because this is how people that they admire look. So that puts us in this place of already toxicity. But then there's this other group of people that they might not see it that way, but they know, okay, so this is the other world. They have a medical condition, they have type 2 diabetes. They know that even if they lose just a little bit of weight, that can make their insulin work better. In that case, that's a whole different ball field. And for them, this does not apply. For them, okay, a little bit, is okay. But then for those who are like, no, I want to stay small forever and always, and I want to look like so and so. That is who we're addressing here. And there are many
Mm-hmm.
people.
Yes. our message is absolutely for healthy people trying to lose weight when, or gain weight for that matter.
Right. Right. It's true.
That's who we're really talking about here.
Yeah. But you're right. It's also for those who want to gain weight for physical appearances also. Yeah. So, okay. Which, on one hand isn't necessarily a bad thing to gain weight if you've been always feeling really cold, if you were truly skinny like I was before, and then put on just the right amount of weight, and it's like, oh, that problem is gone. So that's a whole different issue. But I want to go on now into then, can you please share and describe what makes a diet sustainable?
Yes, yes. And that's such a great question because Americans really need to hear this.
Okay.
I think it starts off with how willing are you to make a change to become the healthier version of yourself? How willing are you? Beautiful. And then it comes down to taking baby steps in the right direction. Set your goal that you want to achieve and make small movements towards that goal.
Yes.
It's all about making lifestyle choices that are actually going to be possible for that individual to achieve. I use this example. If I want to eat a smoothie every morning because I think that will make me healthier, I know that that's not really possible for me because I can't use a blender in the morning. It's too loud. It will wake everybody else up. So that's not a possible goal for me. I need to choose one that is more possible. I can do yogurt with fruit and granola. Pretty much the same, but a little bit different, and it meets my needs. So once the individual has that clear path on the road to their goal, they're going to be so much more likely to actually hit that goal. So that's kind of the psychological perspective. Now, in terms of reality, what should you be eating to achieve or to, maintain a diet? My recommendation is mostly fruit and vegetables. You need enough carb, protein, and fat, a balance of the macronutrients. It's going to keep you full. It's going to keep your energy right where you need it. We also need the appropriate amount of calories. Each person has a different calorie need. Not everybody is going to need 1,200 calories or 2,000 calories or 2,500 calories. Every person's going to be different depending on your activity level and a ton of factors. Additionally, everybody needs to take into account other lifestyle factors. How's your stress? How's your sleep? How's your work? How's your play? Balance always comes into everything like this, especially with dieting. If you are so stressed about eating healthy foods, you are going to crumble under the pressure. So we really need to work on all of those other factors as well before we can really achieve a sustainable diet pattern.
Yes.
Oh, and one more thing.
Oh, yes.
An exercise routine.
Okay.
Yes. Keep it balanced.
There you go. I love all this.
I'm going to kind of talk about my experience in the table at the gym that I have a job at, and also I've seen it in my internships as well. So, you see people going to the gym and they come up to the table and talk to you, and we get onto diets and why they have these health goals and stuff. And when I ask them, okay, so like, why are you doing this? And the common answer, probably like 9 out of 10 times, is I want to lose weight, or I'm trying to have X appearance. And while that is motivating, maybe in the short term, I think in the long term, that's not really going to get you through the days where you don't feel like going to the gym, where you don't feel like eating a meal that's healthy for you, right? So you kind of have to go a bit deeper than that and really ask yourself, like, what are you holding important? What are your values? And how is this goal going to help achieve those values? And also come at it not because you lack X, Y, or Z, or you're trying to get here, but you're down here, come at it at a place of positivity, of you trying to make a good change, not just, I want to lose weight.
Oh, yes. I've seen that time and time and time again for years. That is the answer that we're always usually given. And you're right. That really is, it is short term. You're actually right. But for long term and taking care of our health for our whole lifetime, it needs to be shifted to that. And
Right.
that reminds me, I had a friend, I was going to say I had a friend, she's still my friend. And she wanted to learn how to mountain bike. And I was so excited, like, yes, I'll show you how to mountain bike. So, our first ride together, I was like so excited. She got a bright, shiny new bike. Oh, yeah, I even went with her to get her bike, choose a bike. Then we finally went on that first ride. And the first pedal strokes out of the parking lot up onto the trail, her first words out of her mouth were, "Goodbye, cellulite." And I just wanted to stop. Just,
What?
I wanted to stop pedaling right there. I wanted to say, we are not biking for cellulite. And I mean, I knew she wasn't going to last long. I just knew it. If that was a reason why she wanted to lose, I mean, to learn how to bike was for the cellulite, I'm like, no. I should have assessed her before, but I mean, no, I can't do that. She's my friend. So I can't say, what are your intentions for learning how to bike? I mean, what am I going to say if she says, I want to get rid of my cellulite? I mean, it's a good thing I didn't know that, but when I heard her say that, I just knew she wasn't going to stay in mountain biking. Sure enough, a few short weeks, not even months later, she told me, "Hey, if you know anybody that wants to buy a mountain bike, I'm offering mine, to be up for sale." And I'm like, "What?" I didn't even have to ask what happened. I just didn't even go there.
Oh no.
Yep, I know.
That's funny,
Wait,
but
she
yeah,
bought
you
her
just
own?
know.
She bought her own bike. It was nice and bright and
Wow.
shiny. But
Wow.
but see, if you come from that place, as you ladies said, if it's not for your health to take care of you, but it comes more from a vanity point of view, which that's not necessarily wrong, but if that's the only reason, then people will not sustain their changes, just like what you're sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it should come from that positivity viewpoint. It should come from within, positive, being kind to ourselves, to our bodies, in saying, okay, I want to take care of my body because I know that God created it and I'm responsible to let it run well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So what can we as dietitians and dietetic students do to combat diet culture?
Yes. So important. So, as dietitians and future dietitians, we need to work together to discredit diet culture.
Yeah.
We need to shift the change from diet culture from people who do not have the education or experience to back up their claims, switch that over, refer people to registered dietitians, licensed personal trainers, um, the professionals who actually can help and provide evidence-based information. That's what we went to school for. That's what we're here to help you do. So
Yes.
come talk to registered dietitians. Secondly, as dietitians, we need to counsel our clients to achieve their personal nutrition and lifestyle goals. That's what we're here for. And we need to continue to teach balance and stay centered and grounded with our evidence-based research. If we encourage them, oh, you want to cut out carbohydrates? No problem, let's do it. No, stick to your guns. You know what's the correct macronutrient breakdown. We learned it in school. Stick to it because that is what your client is going to be successful with.
Yes. Amen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very true. And going off of your point is also we have to keep up to date with all of the new trends coming out, the research coming out, because there's new publications. And honestly, this field is really changing. It changes its opinion depending on where the research is going. So you really kind of have to stay up to date. And just because you have this opinion, it's good to still read up on it just
Correct.
to see if it could change. A great example is like on eggs. I remember that a lot of people were against eggs, though it's going to give you heart disease, it's high in cholesterol. And now
Mm-hmm.
the research is telling us, okay, no, not exactly. Just make sure you don't eat it like a lot. Like it's okay to eat eggs. But
Correct.
there are still people that are on that train.
I know. We need to find them and tell them they can enjoy it without having
Right.
that restriction hovering
Mhm.
over their mindsets. Yes.
Yes. And, I think when things do change like that in research, it kind of makes people not trust nutrition as much. They're like, oh, they're always changing their mind. But really, what we're doing is following the research because that's what we're interested in. We're conducting studies and trials to see really what the truth is about these foods, and we're learning more every day, every year. So if things change, it's for the best. It's not because we can't make up our minds.
Yeah, no, it is for the best. So true. Thank you for also pointing that out. Oh, ladies, that's so helpful. So,
Mhm.
my last question here is then, what can we as individuals do to create a more positive, healthier food culture?
So I think a great way to begin is to ask yourself, and this can be in terms of a diet or a goal or just anything, how do I feel when I'm doing this change? Like, how does this make me feel? Because our body is an intuitive um, it will tell you how it feels, and it's your job to pay attention to it or not.
Mm.
A great example of this is I don't know if you guys have heard about the keto flu. So for like a
Oh,
week or two
yes.
weeks after starting keto, people just feel terrible. So that's
Mhm.
probably your body telling you that you need to eat more carbs because it doesn't have the energy to keep you going. But again, because it's a fad diet and people say, well, you know, I know so many people that do great on this, so I'm just going to keep going, right? And you really need to pay attention to what your body is telling you, to trust your body. I think that is super important. Um, Also, we talked about this before, but take everything. If a person tells you that they did great and you saw the before and after, again, it's just their testimony. You really have to ask around more. You have to do your own research and come up with your own opinion.
Correct.
And
I agree.
obviously also use people that know what they're talking about. And on the plus side of this, RDs are a lot more on IG now, and there's good people out there that are trying to tell you. So it is also your job to go and see them and pay attention to them as well, not just the people that are not RDs. So I think that's also a key there too.
Oh, that's so powerful. So powerful.
Yes, yes. You know yourself the best. You know what works for you and what makes you feel your best. So focus on those things and forget everything else. Forget what other people have told you. And please, please do not fall down the Google rabbit hole. Everybody has had like a cough or something and they Google it, and the next thing they know, they're like, do I have cancer? The same thing,
So
it's
true.
funny, but the same thing can happen with nutrition information.
Right?
So don't fall down that rabbit hole. Consult an RD, consult even your personal doctor.
Yeah.
Look online for articles that are written by registered dietitians, not just anybody with no extra letters at the end of their name. Really know where you're getting your information. And just as like a little quick tip, if any internet thing is promising a quick fix, instant results, dramatic before and afters, just know that that's not reality. Results like that only come with time, patience, and commitment to yourself. So, as Stacy said, take everything with a grain of salt. You know it works best for you, so stick to that.
Excellent. Oh, wow. To all our listeners, you've got to embrace what the ladies just said because it's so helpful. And really, I agree with what they say. Me being their teacher, of course, I'm going to agree with you, but these ladies have done their homework and they really know what they're sharing. And Stacey, I'm just going to go back really quickly to that keto flu. It's true. You know, people said they've experienced it, but then people who experience it will tell others, oh, it's just part of the process. You'll overcome that the more you go into it. Oh no, you're so right. That is not normal. People should not be going through that phase of keto flu. It's your body telling you something is not
Right. Yeah, and I have heard that too. It's like they will tell people, oh no, that is totally normal. Your body will adapt to it. Just keep on going. And it's like, yes, your body will adapt because it is an amazing machine. It adapts to so much that we put it through.
well.
However, should we be doing that to our body? That's an entirely different question. And we
Yes.
only have one body. We got to treat it. We have to treat it well. So,
Yes.
Yes.
You're right. And there's that word called interoceptive. Being interoceptive, being in tune with what our internal cues are. And some people ignore their internal cues. If they're not feeling good, some people are thinking, well, I'm getting older. So I think this is part of the process. No, we don't have to stay stuck in feeling less than. So all these different diets can make us feel less than because we're feeding ourselves in a way that's dangerous because of these non-evidenced based diet fads that are out there. So this topic is extremely important. I thank you ladies for sharing so much great information, and I want to thank you for taking your time today to just share from your personal stories, from what you've researched, from what you have found that is evidence based. And thank you. I know you're all so busy, but especially this time of the year, but you've taken your time to do this. So thank you, ladies. I wish the best for the both of you and that God will bless you through the rest of this journey.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nawal.
no problem. Thank you.